Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Wednesday evening and unfortunately I am a bit of a space cadet. I have been to the dentist. There was an exposed nerve. That was not fun. So I have had quite a few injections and obviously come home and taken painkillers. So please excuse me if I ramble a bit. This evening I am talking changing the way you do things because this afternoon when I finished work, I was like, right, I had my breakfast this morning and my appointment with the dentist wasn't till 4 o'clock. So I was like, I have to eat before I go to the dentist or I'm going to be lying there with my stomach going like Mount Vesuvius. So I thought, right, I will have something to eat. Now, I had thought this last night, so I'd taken some meatloaf out of the freezer. I don't know where it's gone now. It was there. Oh, there we go. So, meatloaf in a Tupperware out of the freezer. And I had a bit of an unfortunate thing. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that I do a lot of batch cooking. And my batch cooking, I reuse like Chinese takeaway tubs, Tupperware tubs. I just reuse tubs all the time. I couldn't get into this afternoon. It wasn't because it was frozen. It had been out since last night, defrosting. My hands just couldn't get the lid off for ages. And I actually was getting to the stage of, I'm going to have to look at something else to eat. Thankfully, eventually I did manage to get in, but it was a lot of work and a lot of faffing. So, of course, now my brain is thinking, what are you going to do? You use them all the time. And you use them for all your batch cooking. Bear with me 1 second. Callie. No. Callie had, as she's grown, she can almost reach where we feed the cat now. And unfortunately, we'd left the plate a bit close to the edge. So that's her just been told no to stop sniffing at the cat food. But yeah, back to the Tupperwares. Tupperwares, my freezer's got loads of them. And I'm like, okay. And I had noticed I'm using an old popcorn bucket in the sitting room to keep stuff in, just basically so the dog can't get it. Things like the TV remote, etc., etc. And I'm starting to struggle to open that as well. And it just seems to have been in the last maybe 3 to 4 months, probably something to do with the weather getting colder, that I seem to have had this big problem. And I was like, what are you going to do? What do you put stuff in? And of course, the obvious answer is your Ziploc bags. The ones with the little, that you just pull the thing across the top. I have one box of them because I don't buy them very often because obviously it's plastic. It's, a lot of it is throwaway, although I do wash them. There's 2 here sitting waiting to be washed. So I'm like, well, yeah, I'm going to have to get Ziploc bags because it's completely pointless me batch cooking and putting stuff in things that I can't get access to. And so, of course, I'm now looking at, I've got my sugar in a popcorn bucket. I've got my pasta in a popcorn bucket. I've got flour in a popcorn bucket. I've got a lot of things in plastic containers. And I'm going to have to look at that because if my hands are getting this bad just now, in a couple of years, I'm going to have huge problems. And that's something I never thought of before. It literally has just occurred to me today that yes, my hands have been painful. Yes, I've put the comfrey stuff on them, which sometimes helps, sometimes doesn't. I think it depends on what I've been doing with my hands. I've got all the, the turmeric and the ginger. I'm getting ready to do that. As I say, today was the dentist, so yeah, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, Friday, 18th anyway, to go and see because I want to know whether it's like carpal tunnel syndrome, because I've been a typist since I was like 16, or whether it's the arthritis, or maybe it's a bit of both. But I know when we were on holiday, Patrick lifted my hand. So imagine my hand's there, and he lifted my hand by squeezing my wrist like that. That was so sore, like surprising, and I wasn't expecting the pain, nor was he, obviously. And we're like, what was that? And I don't know. So I need to tell the doctor those sorts of things. But I also need to look at making the house more friendly for when my hands don't work properly. So, yeah, Ziploc bags. Definite thing. We're going back to the Mylar bags. I still have a pile of Mylar bags that I haven't used yet. I have a stash of them filled, but there's some still sitting there. I've still got oxygen absorbers. So I think I'm going to start putting the stuff that was in the popcorn buckets in the Mylar bags, because using my thumbs to get that little, you know, the little tiny, tiny bit that you put your thumb in and lift the lid, I'm starting to struggle with that. So, yeah, quite a shock to the system. So any other ideas, please let me know, because obviously for batch cooking it needs to be airtight, etc. For storage it needs to be airtight. Jars, obviously not the best idea. But yeah, that's been quite an epiphany. So yeah, I'm going to go and work out what I can use and what I can't use. And I'm going to go and look for things like, I mean, I have a jar opener, one of the things with the different size circles to put on. But I'm going to go and look at other things, because I think being prepared, obviously, for when things go squinty, I'd rather have the options sitting here for the day that I don't manage myself. So yeah, that's been my day. So now I'm going to go and sit myself down, probably take more painkillers, because as you can hear, I'm doing the lispy thing again. So I think my painkillers are wearing off. And I will catch you later.